Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Side by Side, where we go to the restaurants that are in the same vicinity that serve the same food, and we do that side-by-side comparison to let you know which one reigns supreme. Today, we're not in New York City. As a matter of fact, we're not even in the United States. We've come to Portugal, and we're in the neighborhood of Belem, which is in Lisbon. The two restaurants that we are going today is the OG, Pastéis de Belém, as well as Manteigaria. The story of the egg custard tart actually dates back to the monasteries, and what would happen was the monks that were at the monasteries, they would take the egg whites and they would wash their clothes with them. They'd get their clothes clean with the egg whites, but they had all this yolk left over. So what did they decide to do? They began making their own version of an egg custard tart. Now, over time, to raise money for the monasteries, they began to sell it, and they were a huge hit. And they eventually sold it to Pastéis de Belém. And they've really kept the recipe secret. As a matter of fact, only 6 people in the world know that original recipe, and 3 of them are the bakers that work in the back here. So let's go inside, check out those egg custard tarts at Pastéis de Belém, and then we'll go down the street and we'll try them at Manteigaria. First impression, this place is large, seats 260 people, and on top of that, the menu is expansive, but what I love most is the prices on that menu. Now, for a place that would attract a lot of tourists as well as locals alike, the prices are fantastic, really can't be beat. In a place like New York City where you get this kind of traffic, you might see the prices be hiked up a lot. They're kind of taking advantage of the people that are coming in because it has a great reputation. Here, that is not the case. It's very reasonably priced. On top of that, we have a lot of food coming, so we're going to give you that insight on what this place is all about, and I can't wait to dig in. Alrighty, folks, so first and foremost, we had to get what we came for, that Pastéis de Belém. And keeping the sweets going, we also got some pudding made with egg yolk on a bed of coconut, as well as a moist orange roll. Adding some other delicious meats to that, we got a meat pie and also a duck and spinach pie. So we're starting off with what we came for, the egg tart. I'm really excited about this. In New York City, we have a rich history when it comes to pizza, dating back to the early 1900s over at Lombardi's. Here at this place, these date back to 1837. So a rich history that survived the test of time, if you will. And one of the things that I noticed right away is the layering of these egg tarts. And it looks like a rose up there. Now, they say what you want to do is you want to have it with either cinnamon or powdered sugar. Just like with pizza, you're going to put some Parmesan, you're going to put some red pepper flakes on it. First, I'm going to have it as is, served out of the oven, just the normal thing. Here we go. Super crunchy, sweet, delicious crust. It's like a sweet croissant. If anything, it's like a croissant on steroids with how layered it is. On top of that, that cream filling, it's sweet. Now, the difference between, for instance, like a Chinese egg tart and Portugal style egg tart is that the Portugal style is much sweeter. Add a little bit more sugar. Usually with the Chinese egg tarts, they're not as sweet. They're not adding as much sugar. Here, it's got that very sweet flavor. Something that you actually might have post-meal, whereas a Chinese egg tart, you're going to have that as an appetizer because this is sweet, and this would top off the meal that you have very nicely. But now, let's try the cinnamon and let's try the sugar. Oh, alrighty. I'm gonna go with the cinnamon first. Here we go. Sweet and delicious. It's a nice contrast to the spice that the cinnamon does have compared to the very sweet crust. It's very flaky. I can't get over how flaky it is as well. I like that a lot. Now let's try it with that powdered sugar on it. Bit of a sweetness overload. maybe too sweet. If I'm doing it again, I'm getting one or the other. I'm just putting cinnamon on all of them. This was very good, but I don't need that much sweet. So I'm going cinnamon next time all the time. Inside scoop, they said one of the most delightful things that you can do while you're here is getting a glass of port to wash down that egg tart. I mean, you're in Portugal, might as well treat yourself, right? When in Rome, well actually I guess when in Portugal, drink the port. Yeah, don't skip on that. Sweet, smooth, not dry at all. It's going to be difficult not to get multiple of these with how cheap this is here. $2. Well, $2.60. Still, there we go. Sticking with that egg theme, I'm going to have the egg yolk pudding first before I head over to that orange moist cake. Soft, gelatin-like texture. That's coconut on the bottom. One of my favorite fruits. Here we go. This is much more rich than the egg tart that we just had. Strong flavor. It almost reminds me of like a hard sugar candy that's been in the form of a gelatin, in a gelatin-like texture, and the coconut crispy on the bottom, so it does add the contrast in textures, but it's high sugar content, it seems like. I can't taste the egg at all, just tastes like a gelatin sugar candy. Now let's go into that orange cake. Ooh, get a good slice of that. When you see that gleaming, you know it's going to be moist. Almost looks like a tres leches cake. Here we go. If I'm ranking what I've had so far, egg tart number 1, the orange cake number 2, the egg pudding number 3. With the orange one, very moist. Also, very soft cake as well. There's a hint of orange flavor. It's like a sponge cake with a hint of orange. Very good. Tasty. Number 2 of everything that we've tried so far. So now we're going in reverse, right? Usually have dessert for the last course. We did it with the first course. Now we're going to our meat pie right here, layered in a delicious pastry. Here we go. So the bread, soft, flaky, not too sweet. The overpowering flavor, believe it or not, it is very meaty, but they definitely cook this with onions. Onion is the dominating flavor with this guy. I do enjoy it though, and usually I'm not a big onion guy. The meat has been minced almost to like a very smooth texture. The way that it's cooked, interesting, very interesting. But yeah, I enjoyed it. And then lastly, the duck and spinach pie. Duck, very underrated meat in my opinion. I love it. Don't have it too often, and the fact that this was even on the menu was the reason why we had to order it. So now that we've had everything on the menu, egg tart number 1, the duck and spinach pie number 2, orange cake 3, meat pie 4, and then that's egg yolk pudding 5. All of them were delicious, even though the egg yolk pudding was number 5, but this right here, you have this cream spinach that, along with this delicious bread that they did bake, just pressed right back there, with big chunks of duck in there. It's very good. I recommend when you do come here, get the egg tart, and if you're gonna get something that's not sweet, this is the move that you wanna get. Something that's gonna be salty, that's gonna go well in contrast with the sweetness that you're having. This is very good. I'm probably gonna eat all this before the director has some. All right, folks, now we're at Manteigaria. This one is a little bit different from the OG that we just went to. This is the new hip and trendy place. Now, the original location was in downtown Lisbon and was open in a butter shop. That's how it's got its name, which is Manteigaria, which is butter shop in Portuguese. Now, they have several locations across Portugal. This one right here, one of the things that's really cool is when a batch of these egg custard tarts are done, they actually ring a bell, let everyone know that they're out of the oven, hot and ready to serve. Let's go inside, check it out, see what they're all about. All right, folks, here we go. We are inside and I have my egg tarts. Not much seating here, only seating is outside, and it's kind of raining outside, so it's not very nice. So we're gonna do the taste test in here. I also have my cherry liqueur, delicious. Mmm. That's very sweet. Clears the sinuses. It's good. Maybe just clean my palate for this because I want to taste that difference between these two places. We're gonna go with the plain Jane first. No cinnamon on it. These guys are fresh, hot, out of the oven. See what that bottom looks like. You can see all the layering right there. Cheers. It's hot. This one is much more sweet than what we just had across the street. It almost tastes like I've already put the powdered sugar on it. I know I said the same thing back at the other place. You don't want to throw on any powdered sugar. Same with this guy. The sweetness is the strong flavor. It's overpowering. Nice, crunchy, crispy, flaky crust. Believe it or not, I'm not that big of an egg guy. It's the first time I've ever had egg tarts. I've been missing out. Been missing out big time. All right, now we got the guys with the cinnamon on it. These are such a sweet, delicious delight. You got to throw that spice on there. The cinnamon's the way to go. Adds a great spice contrast to the very sweet flavor that the egg tart already does have. 2 thumbs up for this place. I love it. It's been a great trip so far. Well, folks, that concludes our day here in Belem. And let me tell you, for somebody that was late to the party with trying these egg custard tarts, what an experience it was. I loved it. Now, when it comes to dining, if you're looking for some history, if you're looking for a number of options with food, if you're looking for a very special experience here in this town, you got to go with Pastéis de Belém. It was a fantastic dining experience, great food. I loved it. But if I'm just craving an egg custard tart, I have to go with Manteigaria. It came out just a little bit on top. The reason for that is that when we had it, it was fresh, hot out of the oven. Instead of a more thick yogurt-type texture that was at Pastéis de Belém, theirs came oozing out. That egg custard came oozing out. It was delicious. It was hot. I burnt the roof of my mouth a little bit, but all in all, the flavor was fantastic. You can't go wrong with either one, but if I am going straight for flavor, I got to go with Manteigaria. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching the video. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you like the content, give us a subscribe. And the weekend's only a few days away. I hope you have a great day and a better week. Take it easy, all. Bye-bye. When it comes to the flavor of the egg